away.
Hi folks, Happy New Year. Shop update video. Honestly, a ton of stuff to catch everybody up on. If you've listened to the Business of Machining podcast, you may know some of this, but I'm actually really happy to show you a ton of quality life improvements, of little things that I think will be helpful to anyone who runs a shop, and some pretty big stuff in terms of equipment and so forth. I'll start off on a little bit of a personal note, which is about 3 months ago, I got hearing aids. They've been life-changing. I'm not going to ramble about them, but if you're somebody who suffers from hearing loss, get checked out. They've been great for me. 90% sure. Shooting competitively in high school, super stupid in hindsight, indoor shooting range, shooting 6 days a week, no hearing protection. This is in the 90s. I'm not defending myself, but take care of your hearing, and hearing aids have been awesome. So while I'm over here, start off with a little thing that's quality of life. We now use an IBC tote to store waste oil that gets picked up by Safety Clean, and we found this thing. They make them on Amazon and Global Industrial, etc., but it's an IBC funnel. That way we don't need to worry a ton about where you pour it, and it keeps it a little bit nice and neat for that. And I also have been going through on part of my 2026 to-do list to improve and standardize our skimmers. So first off, it was making sure we have skimmers on every machine. The Okuma did not have one, so we printed a modified version of our skimpy stand, and we started adding magnets to the bottom side of these. We've standardized around these 10 millimeter by 10 millimeter round magnets that we use all over the shop, and that helps it stay in place. This one's not running because it's on an Alexa plug, but part of the goal this year is going to be to move all of the Alexa stuff to Home Assistant. That way it's just a better workflow to run the whole shop. The Alexa has a bunch of crappy things that you have to log in from my phone, and the interface is not nearly as robust and so forth. So Home Assistant is going to be a big part of the future year. I also am really proud to share how far Johnny 5 has come along. It was about this time last year that I decided to bring him home from the shop and tear him all the way down and rebuild him and bring him to completion. You can see here he's moving, working the hands, he's talking. I've actually since taken him back down to kind of start to really robustly fix some of the electrical gremlins I've already seen, but he's alive and well, and when he gets to a point that I can do a better full video tribute, that'll come for sure on the Johnny 5 build update. I also built an R2D2 for fun to take a little break over the holidays. I was getting a little bit burned out again on Johnny 5, but really it's coming along super well. One of our goals for 2026 will be to reorganize the racking that we have here in our shipping area. Serena, our shipping manager, handles all of that. So I'm kind of staying out of that, but there's another shop update that we'll see here in a second that involves a pretty big overhaul of all of our machining equipment in terms of its location. That can't start until we sell the horizontal, and the horizontal is for sale. I did want to show off, we purchased a Freddy, which is a pretty big upgrade. It probably deserves its own video. There's a couple out there on YouTube already. Basically, it's absolutely great. The only things I don't love about it are that it's still big to wheel around and move. And you need to keep it clean. One of the tough things is that if you clean out a really dirty sump, then you really need to clean the Freddy out. That way you don't kind of cross-contaminate a better clean sump. But what I love about it is that you can use one suction to drain a tank while you're using the gas pump to fill it back up. So you can take the Freddy and pretty easily cycle through a infinitely large tank, and that way you're catching everything you want to catch in the filters right here. So it's a huge upgrade. We're just still trying to figure out what it looks like in terms of how we integrate it into our weekly or monthly maintenance. So as I mentioned, we are selling the horizontal. It has been an absolutely great machine. It's still running to this day, making great parts. And the reason we're selling it, and the only reason we're selling it, is we are moving to complete one-piece flow. It's a system and a process that we really learned to embrace with the Williman, and now we have one now, but we'll probably buy some number more of these almost identical setups. But it's a Brother machine tool. We like the Brother here for a mix of combination of quality and also a really ingenious tool changer mechanism that It doesn't really have that many moving parts. In fact, as you jog the Z up, this dog moves in and it automatically does the tool change. It's actually even simpler than the Fanuc RoboDrill style. But it's not that we need fast tool changes, it's just, this is what this machine was sort of built for. And so what we're doing now is going through the workflows of the Robo Jaws that we bought, or Robo Chucks, I think, from Lights Out Manufacturing. And we're using sort of their system with a generic UR10E. And being able to do one-piece flow is going to be just amazing. We can take material, stack it in here, we can demag it, do other things to prep it. We can actually measure it offline with the robot by pushing it up against hard stop, put it in the machine, take it out. When it comes out of the machine, we could have our option of doing something like putting it into a CMM or a Renishaw equator, a coolant system. You could sort it and organize it by order into bins. We could put it into a cleaning, ultrasonic, or rust preventative. You could have 1 out of every 50 measured. We're also going to try to tie in Home Assistant to do recordings. In fact, I already got this working. Home Assistant, if you don't know, it is a sort of open source home automation software, but there's a ton of powerful things you can do with it. I have it working with a generic web camera where if an event happens, like an e-stop or an alarm condition, it will take the 2 minutes or whatever interval you want of footage that occurred leading up to that event, as well as how much after the event you want. It will move that video into a separate folder, and it will then email me. That way, I don't have to scrub through footage or look. Basically, I get an email, something happened, and I can just click and open and start watching that file. Because this automation system will have hiccups, we know that, but it has been really awesome to see how far the team has gotten along with it. We also will share more on this. It probably, again, deserves its own video. We also wanted to show off. The Lights Out folks have been awesome to work with. They kind of helped us get the brackets and stuff we needed for the automatic door on the Brother. And we'll do a video showing how anybody can do that. I'll grab Grant here in a second. We can show the door opening and closing. The other new machine we have is an automation-ready UMC 400. We upgraded from the 350 basically because we wanted the larger tool changer. This machine has 30 tools and it has an automatic door on it. So far this machine's been absolutely great. We've been cranking out both Saunders parts, but mostly today internal fixtures and tooling for stuff here. Happy to talk more if folks want to know in the comments and answer, but like all of our Haas machines, it's just been great. The one major gripe that I have that I just learned about after we bought this machine is that I'm going to say all Haas machines, somebody can argue with me, I might be mistaken, but I believe all Haas machines as of now come with a sensor that you could describe as a ball bearing on a glass plate, where if you lift this machine an inch or two up and attempt to move the machine it either bricks itself automatically or you can have a 5-day extension, but it requires a service tech to come on site and unlock the machine. I have a huge issue with this. I've talked about it in the bottom some. I don't like it for a whole bunch of reasons, but for the sake of this video, I'm just putting it out as a PSA to know if I want to move this machine 3 feet over, it now involves an HFO service visit on site. We've continued to use and love Send Cut Send. This is the second version of this bucket we've made. It's a maker pipe base, but the Send Cut Send part is this bracket here that's angled that allows us to hold a tub, and then there's a drain hole in the tub, and we just hang a bucket here. I'll go show you on the Okuma vertical where we've had it in use for over a year, but it's really been a nice addition to help us drain what coolant we can out of the chips, but then also have a really nice system for how you just dump the chip hopper itself. Right, like so. Actually would be happy to share the Fusion file or even put that up on the marketplace. I don't want to make any money off of it. It just took me a minute to draw that up, and I guess Send Cut Send just kills it on their whole business model. Really impressive. Case in point too, Alex wanted a better way to store work in progress for our Stimpworks valve covers. We make these, our little side fun business called Stimpworks makes air-cooled Porsche parts, and these are valve covers for, let's see if it says here, what year. This is a 993 upper, and I thought the Sen Cut Sen plastic stuff looks really nice. The other fun thing we have that I really love is this Gorilla Fab indicator stand. We bought it. It's great. I don't have it set up for a demo right now, but the motion and lack of, I think it's hysteresis, like you just get instant feedback with a really nice control knob. So really, really happy with it. The only thing I don't love about it, and it's one reason why I really can't show it off on video now, is as soon as I release this knob, all of your degrees of freedom relax. So this thing kind of like collapses on itself. So it's not a big deal as long as you know to use two hands while you operate it, but it is every time I do it, it kind of half scares me, but really a nice piece of work that's been helpful for some of the measuring and metrology stuff. If you're interested in our Okuma Horizontal, it's like I said, it's been a great machine. We're still using it. All of the machine specs, details, build info, pictures, and the price are up on our Saunders Machine Works website. Scroll to the very bottom. There's a page called Equipment for Sale. So please reach out if you're interested in that machine. Our goal is to get it moved here in the next few months. We also have a new product line, expanding ID clamp pins. We started with 1/2 inch. We've now added 3/8 inch. We're going to be adding more, but link below if you're interested in learning more about those. They really are an absolute great way to hold things. We, like so many of our products, started selling them because we were using things like them internally, especially on certain parts where you really want to hold critical tolerances. And any sort of a clamp in a vise action where you're clamping across a part affects the part, whereas an ID clamp expanding out from a bore, if your part is able to support that, really allows you to get full perimeter access without that clamping force deviation. Wrapping up here with some quality of life stuff, I got to give a shout out to Qualichem. We had some issues and questions with both our water and our coolant. They had been great. We had been sending them lab samples. I think I sent them 4, and then I called my rep and I said, hey, I'm happy to pay for these. I feel like I'm imposing on you. And they sort of laughed and said, no, we have companies that send us 15 every week, which made me realize, oh, okay, it's not a huge deal. But seriously, it's been an awesome company to have them support us. We're trying to figure out if we have basically, if we have any reason to switch out our RO system for something different or better. And then I hate to say it, but we had one coolant tank go bad again, and it bothered me. You know, why did that happen? Trying to learn and analyze that. So been super helpful there. Last year we did a Saunders capital improvement, quality of life, tools, hand tools, what do you want list, and it was great. It ended up, we ended up getting rid of a lot of old carts. We standardized around wire racks and these nicer wooden carts that they just look good around each machine. I'll show you the example would be like you see this one and those. So we did it again this year, and in kind of a fun way, we didn't have as many things to do. Ed wanted a pair of 3 to 4 digital mics. We needed some new metrology pins and dedicate from shop use to sort of lab use, metrology use. And then another little thing, but this is a remnant from before we moved in. It's our the old flooring, so we're gonna have that replaced and fixed up just so the utility closet looks a little bit nicer. And I bought myself a new PC. I kind of had to laugh because I didn't think mine was that old, and then I realized, oh, it's really old, like 6 or 7 years old. And it's an amazing world that we live in. To spend, I think I spent like $1,600, and I don't know the specs. I could post them if anybody really cares, but it's basically a really good Ryzen 9 PC with a really good graphics card, and what a huge quality of life improvement. My gosh, really incredible. So as always, folks, I really hope you enjoyed something. It's been fun sharing this journey over the past 10 years. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.